Tired of feeling like you're stuck in a loop, living out the same frustrations your parents did? Do you find yourself reacting to your partner, your kids, or your finances in ways you swore you never would? Ways that feel eerily familiar, like an old family script you can't stop reading from? You know there's more for you, a different way to live and love, but breaking those deep-seated childhood patterns feels impossible. You're not alone in this struggle. And more importantly, you're not stuck. What if you could finally understand why these patterns keep showing up and discover the clear steps to break free and write your own story? That's exactly what we're here to explore today. For so many of us, the way we communicate, the way we handle our emotions, our beliefs about money, and even the partners we choose are deeply shaped by what we learned and experienced as children. These patterns become so automatic, so normal to us, that we often don't even see them. But these unseen forces can hold us back from the happiness, peace, and success we truly desire. The good news, the really good news, is that you can break these cycles. You can change these learned behaviors. It starts with understanding. In this video, we are going to pull back the curtain on these powerful childhood behavioral patterns. We will look at exactly how they get wired into our brains, often without us even realizing it. We will explore how they show up in our adult lives, sometimes in very surprising ways, affecting our relationships, our careers, and our overall well-being. And most importantly, we are going to give you practical, actionable insights and tools to help you identify these patterns within yourself, understand their origins, and begin the truly empowering journey of conscious interruption and reprogramming. This isn't about blaming your past or your parents. It's about liberation. It's about taking the wisdom from your experiences and using it to build a future that is authentically yours. Many skilled people have successfully navigated this path to freedom, and today, we're giving you a clear roadmap to start your own journey. So if you are ready to stop being an echo of the past and start becoming the conscious creator of your future, you are in exactly the right place. Let's start by understanding how these patterns even form in the first place. Why do we end up doing things that remind us so much of our childhood, even when we don't want to? It's not because we are weak or because we are not trying hard enough. It's because of how our amazing human brains are built to learn, especially when we are very young. When we are children, our brains are like super sponges. We are soaking up everything around us. We learn so much just by watching the people we live with, especially our parents or the main grown-ups who take care of us. We watch how they talk to each other. We watch how they handle their feelings, like anger or sadness. We watch how they deal with problems. We watch how they manage money. We watch how they show love or how they don't. This is called observational learning. We see it and our brain records it. We don't even have to be trying to learn. It just happens. Many of these observations become like little instruction manuals stored deep inside us. Then there's something called conditioning. This is another way we learn. Conditioning happens when our behaviors have certain results. If we do something and something good happens, we are more likely to do it again. If we do something and something bad happens, or if we get no reaction at all, we might stop doing it, or we might learn a different way to try and get our needs met. For example, if a child learns that crying loudly gets them attention, they might cry loudly more often. If a child learns that being very quiet and good keeps them out of trouble in a stressful home, they might become very quiet and try to be invisible. These are not conscious choices a child makes. They are ways the child learns to survive and get by in their world. These learned responses become automatic. These patterns get set very early in our lives, when we are most dependent on the grown-ups around us. Because these ways of being, thinking, and feeling were learned so young, and because they were part of our everyday life, they start to feel completely normal to us. They become our default setting. It's like the air we breathe. We don't even notice it's there. So even if the pattern was not very healthy, like maybe everyone in your family yelled when they were angry, that way of dealing with anger can feel like the only way, the normal way, to you as an adult. It becomes an automatic childhood behavior that carries into adulthood. Think about it like learning to ride a bike. At first, you have to think about every little thing: balance, pedaling, steering. But once you learn, it becomes automatic. You don't think about it anymore. You just do it. These childhood patterns are like that. They become so deeply ingrained, so automatic, that we often don't even realize we are doing them. We don't question them. They just feel like who I am. But the truth is, they are often just what I learned. And the good news is, what was learned can be unlearned, or at least we can learn new, healthier ways to respond. Understanding how these patterns form is the first powerful step in being able to change them. It takes the blame away and brings in understanding. Now that we know a bit about how these patterns form, let's talk about how to spot them in your own life. Identifying your patterns is a really important step. You can't change what you don't see. This needs some honest looking at yourself, but it can be so helpful. Let's look at a few common areas where these childhood behavioral patterns often show up for adults. First, let's think about communication styles. How do you talk to people, especially when you are stressed or in a disagreement? Did you grow up in a house where people yelled a lot when they were upset? If so, you might find that yelling is your go-to reaction when you feel angry or frustrated, even if you hate it. Or maybe you grew up where feelings were not talked about at all. Maybe people just shut down or gave each other the silent treatment. If so, you might find yourself doing the same thing. You might find it really hard to talk about your feelings, or you might withdraw when things get tough. Perhaps there was a lot of passive aggression where people said one thing but meant another, or used sarcasm to express anger. You might see that in your own communication now. Take a moment to think. What did communication look like in your childhood home? And how does that compare to how you communicate now, especially with your partner, your kids, or your close friends? Recognizing your communication style is a big part of understanding childhood behaviors in your adult life. Next, let's look at money habits. Our relationship with money is often something we learn very early, just by watching how our family handled it. Did you grow up with a feeling that there was never enough money? This is often called a scarcity mindset. If so, as an adult, you might always be worried about money, even if you have enough. You might find it hard to spend money on yourself, or you might hoard things. On the other hand, maybe you saw impulsive spending. Maybe money was spent quickly, without much thought for the future. If so, you might struggle with saving money now. You might buy things you don't need, looking for a quick, good feeling. Or perhaps money was used as a way to show love, or to control people in your family. These old money habits can stick with us and cause a lot of stress. So, think about what messages you received about money as a child. How did your family talk about it and use it? And how are your money habits today? Another big area is relationship dynamics. This is about how you act in your close relationships, especially with romantic partners. Do you find yourself choosing partners who are very similar to one of your parents, even if that parent was difficult? This is very common. It's like we are unconsciously trying to fix something from the past. Or maybe you find yourself repeating the same kinds of arguments or conflicts that you saw your parents have. Perhaps you avoid conflict altogether because arguments were too scary in your childhood. You might find it hard to trust people, or maybe you trust too easily. You might be very independent and find it hard to let anyone get close. Or you might be very needy and always looking for someone to take care of you. These relationship patterns often come directly from what we learned about love, trust, and connection in our families. Think about the main relationships you saw as a child. What did they teach you about how people treat each other? And what patterns do you see in your own relationships now? Identifying these relationship patterns from family is a huge step. These are just 3 areas: communication, money, and relationships. But these learned behaviors can show up in many other parts of our lives too, like how we handle stress, how we feel about success, how we take care of our health, or even how we parent our own children. The key is to start looking with gentle curiosity. Ask yourself, where did I learn to do this? Does this feel like something from my past? This self-awareness is the start of real change. Many skilled people find that asking these questions opens up a whole new understanding of themselves. So you've started to think about your patterns. Maybe you're seeing some connections to your childhood. What now? This next part is so important. It's about understanding the incredible power of awareness. Simply recognizing a pattern, just seeing it clearly, is the crucial first step toward changing it. It might sound too simple, but it is truly the foundation of all change. Think about it like this. When these patterns are running on autopilot, when they are unconscious, we have no choice. We just do them. We react in the old ways without even thinking. It's like being a passenger in a car that someone else is driving, and they keep taking the same wrong turns. You feel stuck, but you don't know why. But when you become aware of a pattern, it's like you suddenly realize you can be the driver. Awareness brings the pattern out of the dark, out of the unconscious part of your mind, and into the light of your conscious mind. And once something is in your conscious mind, you have a choice about it. You are no longer just automatically reacting. You can see the pattern as it starts to happen. You can feel the old feeling rising up. You can hear the old thought starting in your head. And in that moment of seeing, there is a tiny space, a space where you can choose to do something different. This power of awareness is amazing. At first, just noticing the pattern might be all you can do. You might still find yourself doing the old thing. That's okay. Don't judge yourself. Just keep noticing. Oh, there I go again, yelling when I get angry. Or, oops, I just bought something I don't need because I was feeling sad. The more you notice, the clearer the pattern becomes. And the clearer it becomes, the more that little space for choice will grow. Awareness is like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly, you can see what's there. You can see the furniture you keep bumping into. You can see the path to the door. Without the light, you're just stumbling around. With the light of awareness, you can start to navigate more skillfully. This step is not about blaming your parents or your childhood. It's not about feeling bad about yourself for having these patterns. Everyone has them to some degree. It's about understanding yourself with compassion. It's about recognizing that these patterns were often learned as ways to cope or to feel safe when you were little. They served a purpose back then, but now, as an adult, they might not be serving you anymore. They might be holding you back from the life you want. So, celebrate every time you become aware of one of your patterns, every aha moment, every time you catch yourself starting to go down that old road. That is a victory. That is you taking your power back. That is you waking up. This awareness is the magic key that unlocks the door to change. Many people find that just this step alone starts to shift things because you can't unknow what you now know. Your journey to break childhood patterns truly begins here. Once you have that power of awareness, once you can start to see your patterns as they are happening, or even just after they happen, then you can begin to practice something called conscious interruption. This is where you actively step in and choose to do something different. It's about moving from being on autopilot to being the pilot of your own life. Conscious interruption means that when you notice an old pattern starting to kick in, you create a pause, just a moment. In that pause, you have a chance to stop the automatic reaction and make a new choice. This is not always easy, especially at first. Those old patterns can be very strong, like deep grooves in a record. But with practice, you can learn to lift the needle out of the old groove and place it onto a new one. Let's think about how this might work. Imagine your pattern is that when you feel criticized, you immediately get defensive and start an argument. You've become aware of this. So the next time you feel criticized and you feel that familiar anger rising, you try to create a pause. Maybe you take a deep breath. Maybe you count to 3 in your head. In that tiny pause, you remind yourself, okay, this is my old pattern starting. I don't have to react the old way. Then in that space you've created, you consciously choose a different thought or a different action. Instead of immediately arguing back, maybe you choose to say, let me think about that. Or maybe you choose to ask a question like, can you tell me more about what you mean? Or maybe you choose to simply walk away for a few minutes to calm down before you respond. Any of these would be a different choice than your old automatic reaction. That is conscious interruption. Let's take another example. Say your pattern is impulsive spending when you feel sad or bored. You've become aware of this. So the next time you feel that urge to buy something you don't need, you pause. You notice the feeling. You acknowledge the urge. And then you consciously choose a different action. Maybe you choose to call a friend instead. Maybe you choose to go for a walk. Maybe you choose to journal about how you're feeling. You are interrupting the old pattern of feel sad, buy something, and replacing it with a new, healthier response. This idea of pausing and choosing differently is so powerful. It's like exercising a new muscle. At first, it might feel weak and awkward. You might not always succeed. You might still fall back into the old pattern sometimes. That is perfectly normal. The key is to be kind to yourself and just keep practicing. Every time you manage to pause, every time you manage to choose a different response, even a small one, you are strengthening that new muscle. You are creating a new pathway in your brain. Conscious interruption is about bringing intention to your actions. It's about asking yourself, is this old way of reacting really serving me? Is it helping me create the life I want? Or is there a better way? It's about realizing that you have more power than you think. You don't have to be a slave to your old childhood conditioning. You can learn to respond to life in new, more conscious, and more helpful ways. This is a very practical step you can take to change learned behavior. Many skilled people use this technique to transform their lives. So we've talked about becoming aware of your patterns and learning to consciously interrupt them. These are huge steps, but sometimes just awareness and interruption are not quite enough to make lasting changes, especially if the patterns are very deep-seated. This is where reprogramming tools can be very helpful. These are techniques that can help you change those old programs running in your mind and create new, healthier ones. Let's briefly touch on a few of these tools. One common tool is affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements that you say to yourself regularly. They are designed to help you change negative thought patterns and beliefs. For example, if your old pattern is based on a belief that you are not good enough, you might create an affirmation like, I am worthy and deserving of love and happiness, just as I am. The key with affirmations is repetition. You say them often, with feeling. Over time, this can help to create new, more positive pathways in your brain. It's like planting new seeds in the garden of your mind. Another tool is visualization. Visualization is when you use your imagination to create a mental picture of what you want. For example, if you are trying to break a pattern of being afraid to speak up, you might visualize yourself speaking confidently and calmly in a situation where you usually feel scared. You imagine it in detail, feeling the good feelings of being confident. This mental rehearsal can actually help your brain prepare for doing it in real life. It's like practicing in your mind. Many athletes and successful people use visualization to help them achieve their goals. Sometimes these childhood behavioral patterns are very deeply rooted, perhaps because of difficult or traumatic experiences in childhood. In these cases, seeking support can be incredibly helpful and often necessary. This might mean talking to a therapist or a counselor. A good therapist can help you understand your patterns on a deeper level. They can help you heal those old childhood wounds in a safe and supported space. They can teach you specific techniques for reprogramming your mind and changing your behavior. There is great strength in asking for help. It is not a sign of weakness. It means you are serious about your healing and growth. There are also many wonderful courses and workshops available that can teach you tools and techniques for breaking old patterns and reprogramming your mind. These can provide structure, guidance, and often a supportive community of people who are on a similar journey. These resources can help you learn about things like healing your inner child, changing limiting beliefs, and developing new coping skills. The important thing to remember is that you don't have to do this all alone. There are many tools and many forms of support available to help you on your journey of breaking free from old childhood patterns. Whether it's through affirmations, visualization, therapy, or courses, the goal is the same: to help you create new, healthier ways of thinking, feeling, and behaving, so you can live a life that is more aligned with your true self. This is about taking actionable steps to change your life. So, we have journeyed together today, exploring how those patterns from our childhood can follow us into our adult lives. We've looked at how they form, how to start seeing them in ourselves, the amazing power that comes with just being aware, and how we can begin to consciously interrupt them. We also touched on some tools that can help us reprogram those old ways of being. The biggest message we want you to take away from our time together is this: change is absolutely possible. You are not doomed to repeat the mistakes or the unhealthy patterns of the past, whether they were your parents' patterns or patterns you developed to cope. You have the power within you to understand yourself, to heal, and to choose a different way. This journey of breaking childhood patterns is one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. It is a path to greater freedom, greater happiness, and a life that feels truly your own. It takes courage to look at these things. It takes patience with yourself, and it takes a commitment to keep learning and growing. But every step you take, no matter how small it feels, is a step towards a more conscious and fulfilling life. You are learning to become the author of your own story instead of just replaying an old script. Many skilled people have shown that this transformation is possible for anyone who is willing to do the work. We truly hope this video has given you some valuable insights and a sense of hope. We hope it has sparked a desire in you to learn more about yourself and to start taking those first steps towards breaking free from any old patterns that are no longer serving you. If you found this information helpful, if it resonated with you, we would be so grateful if you would give this video a like. It really helps our channel reach more people who might be looking for this kind of support and understanding. And we would love to hear from you in the comments. What is one pattern you've noticed in your own life that you think might have roots in your childhood? Or what is one small step you feel inspired to take after watching this video? Sharing your thoughts can be so helpful for others in our community too. If you want to continue this journey of self-discovery with us, if you want more tools, techniques, and insights for understanding your mind and creating positive change in your life, please make sure you subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you'll know whenever we release new content. We have many courses and resources designed to help you with exactly these kinds of challenges. And if you are facing personal struggles and feel like you would benefit from more direct connection or want to ask us questions about your specific situation, please feel free to reach out to us on our Instagram or TikTok. You can find the links in the description below this video. We are here to support you. Thank you so much for being with us today. Remember, you are capable of amazing growth and change. Take care of yourself, and we look forward to seeing you again very soon.